continuing adventures of our heroes. Can I ask you to do me one favor before we get started, please? Could you go to our YouTube channel? Sarah, if you could do like ! YouTube or YT, I don't remember what the command is. If you could go to our YouTube, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't cost anything. It's not like a Twitch subscription. We would really like to start monetizing YouTube so that we can add more support, financial support for our wonderful cast and crew, including these beautiful people at the table. So could you do that for me? I'll give you just a second. Thank you. Thank you. Joe was first. Joe wins the prize of having to come on Community Cleric next. That's the prize when you're first in my channel. She's been avoiding it for a while. Okay, so thank you, yes, for joining us for today's Phandalin by Night. We join our heroes as they enter a mysterious, thought-abandoned fortress. Well, some of them. And then there's one missing. It's a deal. Let me go around and get my table to introduce themselves. We're going to start with Sarah.
Okay, hello, my name is Sarah, and I will be playing Graja Ragerock, the half-orc barbarian. So much sadness stacked in one person, just looking for her joy. But she finds it in her party, ultimately.
Yes, such a good place. Find it in yourself and then find it in your friends. I love that. Najra.
Hey everyone, I'm Najra. I'm playing Jart, the Far Genasi monk, and she doesn't trust this place, so we'll see how it goes.
We will see indeed. Nikki.
Hey everybody, Nikki here. I play Denny, the tiefling bard, who is very confused and really wants to know what the heck's going on.
Thank you. Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. I play Whimsy, the tiefling warlock, and RIP my contacts for that, so that sucks. But Whimsy's also pretty confused about what's going on because he can't go through here. Everyone else just sort of disappeared through the gate.
And one of the puppers also. Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike. I am still playing Sangane, possibly with some additions, possibly not, possibly upset that his face got blown off by some kind of spell, possibly not.
I mean, not blown off, not blown off, uncovered, melted.
I mean,
I don't know.
He doesn't recognize the face behind the mirror.
It's true. It's true. We're going.
But everyone else
does. To picking up the A and B subplot as we not permanently have split the party, but semi-permanently have split the party. In order to.
Not far.
No. Well, we'll see. We'll find out. Sean.
Depends on how far my wings will carry me.
No wings.
Hey guys, I'm Sean. I play Nine, the human paladin, and it's not his fault you wasn't heeding the 6-foot rule. You should stay back. But yeah, he's confused about this door he entered, and not really sure of this place.
I love the idea that if there were a cleric in our real world today, their like range area of effect would be like COVID social distance effect. I think this is a beautiful addition to the campaign. I'm Sarah. Please follow me on Twitch or Twitter or whatever. I'm the dungeon mistress, the resident dungeon mistress here for Phandalin by Night. And just as a reminder, we are entering into our final few episodes of season 1. We're going to take a break and then we're going to talk about season 2. So I'm excited about that. I should also mention that we have introduced some new safety tools. Generally, our table has been very good at communication and things, but just as a channel, Vancouver by Night is introducing some wonderful safety rules. So off screen, you can't see it, but on the map layer, there is a red and yellow button that my players can trigger at any time, which will stop or slow down play. There is also a chat system. We post our lines and veils tutorials and safety and consent information in our Zoom chat before we begin. I would encourage you, if anything comes up that you're squeamish about or don't like, take a step away. Let us know in chat. We can like wave if you're going to mute so that, you know, we can bring you back or whatever. We can't wait to share these stories with you. So as soon as I pull up my DM thing, let's dive in, my friends. When last we met our heroes, the group had managed through pain, coercion, and intimidation, as well as a very well-placed zone of truth, to convince the wizard Hamun Kost to tell about what he was using the zombies for. During the conflict, 9 cast Turn Unholy, a paladin skill, and Sangane was well within the 6-foot radius, and he took some pretty significant damage, melting away part of his skin and revealing a layer of scales under the elf set skin that was just like silly puttied on top of it. We're not sure how that works. The wizard Kost explained that he was looking into the history of the location. He wanted to know there was some kind of significance of arcane nature, and he wanted to know what the deal was. He needed the name of the creature responsible for the arcane imbuement of the land. And he was planning on using the undead to perform some sort of like seance to raise and bind the spirit to get its name for further research. Whimsy was able to suss out that he was not being completely honest. He was then able, Whimsy was then able to get Kost to be specific enough to give away that he knew who the Black Spider was and was in part working for him. The group decided to get the name from Agatha, the name of the person responsible for the arcane imbuement, from Agatha the Banshee, but not before they realized that Sangane had fled at this time. Jart caught up to him and he begged her to let him go, which she did. The group, most of the group, minus Sangane, continued on together, heading towards Coneyberry as a good place to rest for the evening. Upon arrival to this dusty old abandoned fort-looking outpost, the group tried to pass through the entrance. Whimsy, Denny, and 2/3 of the wolves saved their wisdom saving throw and were not able to pass through. So that's where we pick up as this impish little satyr, Mr. Tumnus looking dude with a Danny DeVito voice is looking there at you guys. And he's like, "What's your purpose here?" To Denny and Whimsy.
Well, originally it was to find a place to crash, but now I've got other priorities. What's going on?
Crash what? What are you trying to crash?
A bed, probably.
We need sleep. We're hit it. Sleep. But
He looks at you very suspiciously.
everyone else seems to have left. Not entirely sure what's going on, but the rest of our friends are somewhere. I don't really understand what's going on. What is this place?
They're trustworthy. They let us in to make sure that they were trustworthy. They are. They're good people. And then there's you two. What's the story?
Is
I'm
this
a great
for tieflings? That's rude. It's rude
Yeah,
as what that
racist.
is.
He gets a little bit like bright red around the cheeks, and his cheeks kind of huff out. His nostrils flare a little bit. How dare you? This is not about a tiefling thing. This is because you two may be hiding something. What are you? You're not here to do damage to my city?
No, I have no desire to damage any part of your city, except maybe a tavern. I might get a bit rowdy, but, you know, nothing on purpose.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Or deception. You can roll. You don't have to tell me what it
I'm
is.
gonna go with persuasion because that's way higher. If it'll roll. Hello? Oh, there we go. Nice. That's gonna be a 26.
A 26. Nice. Whimsy, make me a perception. I should have asked Whimsy first because those dice take forever. To be fair, he rolled a natural 20 on his insight to see if you're truly hiding anything. So he looks at you for a second, and you notice his fingers kind of drumming on something. He's got like a little like a messenger bag style pouch. A natural one. Were you rolling persuasion or deception?
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Persuasion. You guys aren't hiding anything. Lovely. And you notice him kind of fiddling with something in his pouch, and he pulls this like flower out. It is this bright lime green. And he pulls off 2 of the petals and hands them to each of you. Fine, you're not hiding anything. Let's double check that. Make sure.
I'm always a big sport for putting things in my mouth, but what is this?
It's a Pracocia leaf. A Pracocia leaf? Come on. Whimsy just in the gullet. Whimsy's going for it. I love it.
All right.
Let's get this trip over with, guys.
You're not supposed to eat it.
See you next week. And I'll eat it as well.
It's like peyote, right?
I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's infernal. I'm not sure. You begin to just feel a little bit comfortable. And it occurs to Whimsy right away, because of Whimsy's time in the Feywild, that this is a bit of a truth serum. You're not sure how long it lasts, but you will not be able to directly lie. This is almost like a zone of truth spell. You're not going to be able to directly lie to anybody who's asking you questions while you're under the influence of this thing. And he goes, so again, I say, what's your purpose here? You're not trying to do anything that's going to harm my city?
Wasn't planning to.
We are just here to find somewhere safe to sleep, so we can go and deal with this Banshee.
You guys are going to see Agatha? Oh, that's
Yes.
very convenient. I have a package for her. Okay, great. Yeah, come on in. It's fine. He seems quite pleased now that you two have agreed to like pass this test. And he licks his thumb like a soccer mom and like wipes a mark on the back of your hand. And
Gross.
he walks through the door.
Whimsy, what about your wolf?
Excuse, sir? Sir?
His head pops back out. It's like this amorphous floating head that is right at like the barrier of what is an open doorway. So it's like in the middle of a doorway. And he's like, what?
Do the wolves get a stamp so they can get in the club?
Oh, yeah, right. And this floating hand comes out and also wipes something glistening across the wolves like eyebrow. Yeah, exactly. And you're free to try to enter again.
To try.
Pops up and pokes the barrier.
Your finger, it feels like a super thick stale jello. And there's a little bit of resistance, but eventually you know, just a little bit firmer of a push and your finger goes right through. The air on the other side, as opposed to kind of like the brisk air that's outside here, what your finger tells you from the other side is this blast of like delicious heat, like a good summer bake.
Well, Whimsy glances over at Denny, shrugs, and just sort of...
Denny is going to close both of his eyes very tightly and just run full pelts at this gateway.
Just platform 9 3/4 it. You
Exactly,
just gibber. Absolutely. And you do, and you kind of have to like screech to a stop because the event horizon itself is not very, it's not very thick. You just kind of like pop through and you are in this gorgeous looking city that kind of looks like Agrabah, because that's the picture that I'm using. It is full of these beautiful adobe walls, and a beautiful, like a sandstone flagged paved roads, bright colors everywhere. The smells are absolutely amazing. Right in front of you, your party is there waiting for you, kind of looking around, taking in the sights. There are rich tapestries and textures, barrels and baskets of spices and cinnamon cloves, and hanging lambs that are outside of a shop not too far away. This place is all of like the beauty and smell and sounds and music of a place like Marrakesh. And Jart, Graja, 9, a few, maybe 2-3 minutes after you guys pop through, Denny, Whimsy, and Barreled pop through also.
Hey guys, fancy meeting you here. My goodness.
Oh,
Where are you?
I'm not really sure. Are you okay?
Question being more, are you okay? Because you guys just disappeared into a void, and that void is full of a market apparently, so not entirely sure what's happening. You guys see that satyr guy? Did you guys talk to him?
He's like right there next to
No.
you, now that you point him out.
Have you
He's
seen
like,
this guy?
that's rude. We don't usually call people by their race. That's super not cool around here.
Oh, he's my friend. I didn't catch your
sorry.
name.
Yeah, what's your name?
Stanfield, it's nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Hello,
What is this?
Stanfield.
Stanfields? What's going on?
Ponyberry. It's on the map. I assume that's why you're here.
It is, but it doesn't look like this from the outside. How did you manage to do that?
I have some friends who wanted to offer some special protections to my village, to my little fort, after we were run out of a different place and nobody was using this place, so it seemed like a good area to set up shop.
I mean, it is pretty dangerous everywhere right now, so it
Exactly.
seems like a good idea to have some protection for your city.
Exactly. So
check.
this he go for it. He points back to the gate and he says, "This little beauty, that was my work. I put a zone of truth spell on top of the hiding charm, and nobody can pass through unless we can make sure that they're good people. So congratulations, in case you didn't know, in case it's news, you're all good."
My mother's always told me that, but I've never really believed her, so it's nice to have that affirmation.
I think that Graja, when it's like, you're all good people, she like looks at the party and is just like, it's just like, all right. What is
It's a
the criteria?
24.
A 24. This guy, now that not that you would have seen him on the other side of the gate, but you guys, there is a sense of hospitality. This is for sure a fey creature. He gives off kind of the same like mojo as Whimsy, and definitely there is some parallels to the plane of refuge, as is what's going on here. And so this is a place where, as you're looking around, and looking at him specifically, but just kind of around, there seem to be a fair number of people who maybe would catch a sideways glance in the other cities or settlements, whereas there were kind of dragonborn and dwarfs and elves and humans and some genasi you would see. Here there are genasi you see in a Freeti, kind of down the street in an alleyway. There is a rather auspicious looking troll who kind of has like this really slick braid, and he's wearing an ascot, almost like Denny's. And
People.
yes, and this is a place where it seems like outcasts end up of a different variety, or people who may not always fit in. This is a place of welcome, and this guy is not lying. He, for whatever matrix or meter he is measuring whether somebody is good or not, whatever that line is, he seems to believe that you are all in the good side of his measuring scales. So
Okay.
he says, all right, come on in. You, the purple one, you said you wanted to get drunk. That's great. We have lots of taverns. Do you have a specific flavor? There's a couple different
have
styles.
anyone around here that does a good mimosa? Could really go for mimosa today.
Like a brunch place. Yeah. We have a Cora down the street. That's great. And some Canadian humor for you there. There's our CanCon. It's like an IHOP. It's a Canadian IHOP. No problem. And he points down the way, and you do see like this hanging wooden sign with this bright kind of sunny thing that on the top it's like a sun with sun ray triangles, and on the bottom it's like eggs. And yeah.
Yes.
There's lots of inns if you're looking for a place. Really the requirement is we don't really talk about this place outside of Coneyberry. If you see somebody next time you're in Neverwinter that you see here, no, you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. 100%. I get it.
Makes sense.
And you're still under the zone of truth. So he definitely believes that. All right. Well, good luck. If you need anything, Stanfield's my name. I'll hear you from wherever you call in the city. So use that wisely. You know what I'm saying? All right. And he kind of trots off into what looks like a fairly good villa size thing right here at the front. He is the caretaker or mayor or something, some kind of respectable person in the city, and you're free to roam around.
So Graja looks at Denny and is like,
this place seems pretty different than the other towns we've been to. Like, everybody seems to be having a hard time, and like the towns are getting destroyed and the people are all displaced, but like everything seems to be really happy and nice here. So I'm kind of like, do they know what's going on outside, like all the bad stuff? Do you think they just don't know, or somehow, I guess that whole system that Stanfield made maybe keeps it safe from all of that?
Maybe. He did say that they were driven out of somewhere else and came here, so maybe they know something about the outside world, and he does know about Agatha, but I'm not too sure how much they know. I don't know if we should tell them or keep it under wraps. I don't know. I don't want to upset anyone.
I feel like they know. That's why they have all their protections up.
Yeah, they must know something.
Yeah. I think they're making the best out of a bad situation.
And you know what I actually just realized now that we're here and they were talking about the tavern and stuff? I don't think since the very beginning when we all met each other, like, we never actually got to sit down and just have a drink together. Maybe we could do that after we talk to Agatha?
Yes, we will reward ourselves with meat on a wooden board and mimosas. That sounds like a magnificent plan.
Okay.
How is 9 taking in all of this?
9's just looking. He's just observing his surroundings right now. It's not really saying much, but
okay, make me a perception check.
that's an 11.
An 11. You are a little bit overwhelmed. You have never been to a place like this. You are used to kind of the known places of the Forgotten Realms, especially of the Sword Coast. There is nothing like this. This is in the same way that like the Plane of Refuge, but at least that was like Whimsy's home. It was like less than a city block big, and this place is big. There's easily probably 5,000 or 6,000 people you could imagine live in this area. In what is otherwise like a fairly small fort, there is some kind of like dimensional magic going on here to allow for all this. and it is there are races that you have never seen before. There is all kinds of languages and musics, and this feels a bit overwhelming at this moment. So just sticking close to your friends, is good. Whimsy, you notice that two of the wolves have kind of wandered forward a little bit, just to the little arched gate. And they seem to be standing at the gate with their noses, with their heads just poking to the other side. And as you look, you see a bunch of little kids pop their heads up. These kids come in like every color of the rainbow. There are some tieflings, some genasi. There are a little like a Freedy child who are like popping their heads up, looking at the newcomers, but also feeding your wolves. Whatever they're feeding them, the wolves seem interested, and eventually the other two trot over too. And you hear like the squeals of laughter from this little pack of kids as the wolves come over to them. And you guys are free. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Whimsy's just gonna say to the wolves, I told you were good boys, now it's official.
We love it. So yes, you guys are free to go in. You guys are going to go head to the all day brunch buffet. It's like a Vegas style all day brunch buffet.
What kind of day is it again?
Inside here, outside it was you were getting close to kind of evening-ish time.
Yeah.
Inside here, it might be perpetual day.
Oh.
I want to buy some stuff. I don't know if anyone wants to come with me, or I'll meet you at the inn.
Yeah, I want to buy stuff.
Shopping episode. Did not anticipate. We love it. Absolutely, we're going for
No,
it.
it's just a few. I need just a few like daily use stuff, like
Sure, absolutely.
rations.
Yeah, you go and as you're searching around, you do find a variety of kind of markets and stalls. Sarah, if you could zoom out on the map just a little bit. There are a variety of kind of open front stores and stalls and carts, and you can find pretty much anything. There is this place that looks like really good kind of like butter chicken in a bowl. There is a place that's got like some pad thai spring rolls. Anything that you're looking for.
What's the liquor situation in this town like? Is it going to be weird if I walk down the street with a drink, or is this like Vegas rules? You can just be drinking all the time.
As you're looking around, there are people carrying around a variety of different like skeins or mugs or steins or whatever. It seems to be a little bit of like, don't cause trouble, be a good person, nobody really cares what you do, don't be a bad influence on the children kind of a situation. So not completely Vegas, crazy. Yeah. It's not Coachella here, but like there are some human decency rules for sure.
Perfect.
This is kind of pride parade vibe. Daytime family pride parade vibe.
It is always a pride parade when Denny goes anywhere. All right, fantastic.
Lovely. So what I'll do is I'll go around and I'll just get everybody to say kind of what they're looking for, what they want to do. We'll do a little montage moment where you can say what you do, if that's okay. All right, Jart, we'll start with you.
I want to get food.
Okay.
Because I only have like 10 rations or something like that. An extra rope.
Okay.
And
what color are you looking for? There is like this person who sells rope. There is the boring kind, but they're like shoved away in a basket, like clearance style, because most of the ropes are like pinks and purples and teals, jewel tones.
Okay, I'd go with a purple one.
A purple one, absolutely. This bright purple. You notice that there are these like weavings of almost like a metal strand in them. It seems very, very strong. It'll cost you about 50 silver.
Okay. And 10 rations.
10 rations, no problem. Any particular kind that you're looking for? Any flavors?
No, basically just random food.
Absolutely. You find yourself a variety.
If there's something spicy,
Yeah, absolutely. There's the one thing that has like the sriracha rooster on it.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And as you're kind of standing at the prepackaged meals place, there is like the 1 to 5 chili pepper guide to kind of visually give you a selection of spices. There's a little like vegan option. There's a Beyond Meat sign. There's lots of choices here.
all right. How much is it for the 10 rations?
10 rations will be, because these are high quality kind of specialty items, this will be a gold for 10 rations.
Okay. And I want darts, like throwing darts.
Darts, absolutely. You find some that are fletched with what look to be split and pieced owlbear feathers, and they will fly very true. They do have just kind of regular darts in a variety of colors. They have some like blow darts that you could maybe put some kind of potion or elixir in, or dip in
Okay.
poison if you want. Is there one that you particularly want?
I want throwing darts.
Throwing darts, like for a
yeah.
game or to throw at somebody?
No, to throw at somebody.
Okay, yeah, so weapon darts, absolutely.
Yeah, weapon darts.
Yeah, there are some. The owlbear ones are in a case that the shopkeeper will have to open for you. They're a little bit more expensive. He seems quite keen to tell you that they are enchanted. They are a little bit, they're a little bit more expensive, a little bit more rare, but they also aim a little bit truer.
Okay, how much are they? Because I don't have. I've given all my money away, so I don't have much money.
Oh, I can definitely help with that. Don't worry.
Basically, they are 75 gold per dart, but you get advantage when you throw them.
Okay.
How many do you want?
Okay.
Jot, how many do you need?
There's 3 in the case.
That's a lot of money. Just one, and we can try to make it last, retrieve it. I don't know.
I'll take the 3. Thank you so much, shopkeep.
Okay.
Of course,
he's got
of
the
course.
black card.
Yeah.
He's just like, let's go.
George has like 5. George has 5 gold pieces. Right.
Denny's 2 drinks
Love
in
it.
already. He's willing to throw some money down.
We love it. Yeah, he puts them in a very special pouch that's got like this little leather embossed owlbear on it that you can wear on your belt, or you can attach to your rope, to your monk's robes. And you have 3 owlbear darts. I don't know that they actually exist. I just made them up, but I can put them into D&D Beyond later. Where's
Yeah,
my
it's
stick?
okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all I need.
Graja.
Okay, so I think Graja is making an effort to try to stick by 9 a little bit.
Okay.
And maybe like bring him around to the things that she's doing. So the first thing she wants something very spicy to eat right now. Like, so not a ration, but like some street meat.
There is this one place that catches your eye that is selling like tortas and
Ooh.
Oh yeah, and like the good bread, homemade bread style tortas. Yeah, looks real good. Good, like a good carne asada. They also have like a pork shoulder. There's fresh cilantro. There's a lime crema instead of a sour cream. Guacamole's extra, even in the
It always is. Yeah, so I think she definitely wants the pork shoulder.
Okay.
And so she just wants to like eat it as she's walking around looking at stuff. Because the smells are just like she has to have something now. She just is
Yeah.
suddenly aware of like how hungry and like she needs energy, so she'll eat that as she walks around. And then she is looking to buy something for herself, like something. I was trying to look a little bit in like D&D Beyond in terms of items. Like I think, you know, something like a necklace or a bracelet or a brooch or something like that that could possibly have some kind of actual mechanical effect, but that's not strictly necessary. She's just like, she wants to do something for herself. She's come a long way, a lot has happened, and she feels very like an injection of joy from this whole place. So she's trying to just take advantage of that.
So there are magical things. So for those of you who are new watching, Sarah is newish to D&D, although she's been playing it with us for a year. So we're level kind of 5, 6-ish. So we're just learning kind of about some of these personal magic items you can get. There are magical items that we can either homebrew or that exist in the lore that would do things like raise your AC, give you haste, which makes you move twice as fast.
I would love to raise my AC, actually. That
you would love. So you're looking for a something of protection. Great.
Perfect. Yeah.
You find there is this kind of non-binary, beautiful, almost like an almond-looking skin tone, but with this beautiful blue wavy hair. And they say, of course, you're looking for something that makes you a little bit tougher, although you're very tough. And they kind of reach out and touch like your bicep, like your beefy, yoked out bicep.
Deep blush.
Okay. And yes, lovely, darling. Okay, yes. Let me see what I have. And they're rummaging through a couple of their pieces, and they bring out 2 different ones. There's one that's kind of like this bright amber. It's a pen that almost looks like a cloak pin. It's got this long pin going through it, and the amber itself is in the shape of almost like a sun. It's almost very similar to the symbol that you see 9 wear, but it doesn't seem to be religious particularly. And then the other piece is this vibrant purple that's almost like humming with a glow, like that seems to almost glow on its own. And this is a ring. This is like a fat, like Super Bowl ring. So either of these would help you. This purple one, obviously, it's a little bit more fantastic, much like your friend there. They point at Denny. That will, it does a little bit more, but it costs a little bit extra. So for this pen here, this is 500 gold. For the ring, this is 1,200 gold. The pen will increase your AC. Sean I saw Sean took a breath. The pen will increase your AC by 1. The ring increases your AC by 2.
With the ring, but what if I like punch somebody? Will it break?
No, darling. This is certainly powerful enough to protect itself. It even protects you a little bit,
And Graja hears the prices and is just like searching for Denny. She's just like feeling in her little like pouch of coins is just like, oh no, this is not the move.
Whimsy glances over like, is that a lot?
Denny, what do you think of these?
Ooh, they're very pretty. I like that one. That one's really nice. Are you thinking about getting the pen?
Yeah, I was thinking of that just so I can be a little bit tougher right now, and then I can save up and maybe someday come back for the ring.
Denny's gonna take a look at the table and then look up at the shopkeep. Do you happen to have maybe any braces of protection kicking around in the back somewhere that you can maybe bring out?
you're looking for an additional item for yourself, or just something, you know, a little bit cheaper, to be frank.
Well, I've been thinking about getting some braces of protection for myself. And maybe we
see.
can make some sort of a deal if we get two. Maybe you can cut us a little bit of a break.
You know, I'm more of a jeweler, but I do the enchanting myself. So if you go in and acquire some braces to your taste, my good sir, if you go and acquire some braces to your taste, there's an excellent leather worker down the street. You bring them back to me, I will enchant them for you. And since you're acquiring the goods and all you're looking for is my prowess behind the enchanting table, I could do you a deal. Are you looking at the pin or the ring?
Which one is better in your opinion? Which one's going to get us the best bang for the buck?
I mean, I don't know about her kind. They point at Graja. Most of the more mortals can only handle so many magic accoutrement at one time. So, I mean, the more powerful that you go means that, you know, if you can only handle 3 things, you're handling the most powerful, do you know? But of course, it's up to you. And there is no wrong answer when you're making yourself a little bit stronger, right?
Raja, if money was no option, which one would you want?
Probably the ring, because I think it makes me a little bit more even tougher than the other one. And I mean, then it's like, we kind of match a little bit.
How long does it
Banshee
take
is
you
always
to
a good
enchant
choice.
these items?
Ah, yes, great question. And you can see them kind of looking to figure out who and what you are in particular. You are an element of surprise in an area that rarely gets, because they are usually the surprise one in any environment they go to. There are people, your perception roll was low, but there are people who kind of give you a second glance as you walk down the street. There is an air of exciting mystery about you. And the shopkeeper says, "Ah, yes, lovely. It, you know, for a simple enchantment that is more akin to the brooch, to the cloak pin, that would take me a couple of days. If you're looking for something more like the ring, might take me a week."
So you only do enchantments on jewelry?
No, I can do it on anything you bring. Do you have something you would like me to enchant? Tough fella like you, I bet you're quite. I can do other things. I don't just do, you know, the beefy kind of stuff. I can do other things. I can make people faster. I can help those of us who are more arcane in nature to be able to just expand the capacity of our mind, you know. There's all sorts of things that I can do.
Have you ever enchanted any type of arms?
Weapons. Oh, back when I was an apprentice, we don't really have a need for those very much here. I would encourage you not to bring them out while you're in the city gates. Yes, I do have something that could make a weapon a little bit sharper, a little bit truer aim. I have something that could add a little bit of a special damage type. It would cauterize the wound as you stabbed them, which, you know, just adds a little bit of extra pain if that's what you're into. I mean, normally we don't do it for weapons, right? There's other activities in our city that people require that for.
So have you ever enchanted a shield?
A shield, yes. I myself have not, but that seems like an interesting offer, and I could write about it for my store's newsletter. That might be a way to bring in new business. I love it.
And taking on such a task, about how long and how much would that be?
what kind of enchantment do you want? You want it to be a little bit tougher, like these two? Yes. Well, I could do like the cloak would take me like the cloak pin. So a +1 would take me, two-ish days. If you want something more like the ring, which is a +2, then that would take me the better part of a week. And you'd have to leave your signet with me while I do so.
Yeah, I guess after hearing that, 9 we're kind of like, well, thank you for your time. He's not leaving this shield.
I'm here if you decide that you would like to take a week-long vacation in the city. Come back to me. It is quite secure. I've never been broken into. They would regret it,
Graj is trying to give Denny all of her gold pieces. Which is about 15.
15, 1-5?
Yeah, 1-5. I'm just like, here you go.
Go ahead and add that to my gold stash. Cool. All right. So Denny's going to point at the ring and say, we're going to take the ring, and I'm going to go find some braces, and we're going to come back for that. But I'd like the lady to walk out with the ring today, please.
Of course. First off, thank you to Blue Box RPG for the raid. Yay, thank you. We're in magical, mystical Coneyberry, talking to the enchanter of the realm. They say, yes, of course, darling. The ring, and they hold out their hand for Graj's hand and slip the ring onto their finger there. Graja, you feel like this immediate boost of power, but it'll take about 30 minutes to start to feel the full effects. It's like a Midol, right? It takes a little bit to kick in. And in about 30 minutes, you can attune to a ring of protection +2. If you can't find it in D&D Beyond, let me know and I will add it in there.
Thanks,
yes,
Daddy. I mean, Denny.
Yeah, Denny's everyone's daddy.
Is that the vibe that's going on? We do have a meeting.
And then Graj is just like, just complete,
there's
shell.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, like a vibrant kink scene in Coneyberry. We've made a canon. There you go.
Love to see it.
Absolutely.
Sex positive, kink positive.
Absolutely. It's Coneyberry.
Coneyberry.
Of course. Our whole campaign is now set in Coneyberry. This is what I'm finding out. I should have brought this out at the beginning. We love it. So yes, darling, you bring me back the bracers. Give me a couple days. No, I'm sorry, the week, right? You want it a little bit stronger. Yes. It'll take me about a week once I get the bracers, and I'll get it started right away. And you, cutie, they point at 9. Anytime you want to leave me with that shield, I promise I'll take care of you.
How much would that be, though?
I mean, if you're doing it as part of this package with the other two, the ring was going to be 1,200. I'll bump that down a bit to 1,000. And because I'm not buying the materials for the other good, I will make the bracers +2, 900. And same for the shield. I can make that 900 as well.
Well, I do appreciate your help, but I'm a little short on the funds at this moment. So
you can just go ahead and add that to the bill. Thank you so much. That's fine. You can just
very well. I do require payment up front. I hope that's not an issue for you.
Not a problem. Not a
Denny's
problem.
the
He's
only
gonna
one.
rifle around in his backpack and bring out a sack of coins, dig out 280 platinum, and just slide that across the table.
Oh, platinum. Oh, this makes it so much easier to store. Thank you, darling. Absolutely. I will put these on top priority. Your shield, sir.
9 kind of puts his head down a little. He's like,
it's okay. You don't have to do it now. Now, if you don't want to, 9, we do have some stuff to go and do. We can always come back afterwards and you can do it then, whatever you want. Or we can go and find you a different shield in the meantime, a loner shield, if you will.
If anything, it sounds like the Banshee is not as unfriendly as we thought about.
Yeah, Nine takes his shield. Well, he's carrying on his back right now, so he takes it off and he puts it out for him to grab, but he kind of still, that little not wanting to release it type vibe. But he's like, I guess afterwards, he's just looking at Denny. He doesn't know how to act because nobody's ever like did this for him at all ever, even where he was from. So like he's like kind of not knowing. Yeah.
I love it. They kind of like wrestle you for it for just a second, and then take it. I promise you, my shop has been here for 700 years. We're not going anywhere. I will be here in a week when you come back for it. I assure you it's in the best of hands. Is there anything else I can get for you, for your friends? Anything?
Is there any, do you have directions to maybe a health potion shop so I can get some health potions for some of my friends or something? So
Absolutely. Just it's next to the tavern. Such good branding because people get drunk in the tavern and then they go get a detox potion at the potion shop. Like, oh, they are brilliant, those ones. They're kind of new here. They've only been here for about 300 years. Anyway, yes, they're right next to the tavern there. So you can go and pick up potions there. They do all kinds of things. Try the Aquamarine one if you're one of the arcane kind. It has a little bit of extra flavor for those of us who do the special things, I swear that this will be here. I look forward to seeing you in a week. Thank you for your business.
Ooh,
Thank you to.
if we're going to the potions place, can we get them to check that we have like 2 or 3 potions that we don't know what they do?
Yes, I have an Aquamarine Potion that I've been carrying around for like months. I wonder if it's the same Aquamarine Potion.
Sean, make a perception check as you guys walk away.
better not be doing nothing with my shield. Damn, that's a 10.
A 10. You look back and you notice this person putting things into the it's like a bodega where it's got like a rollout push thing in front of the shop itself. They're putting things away, pulling in the cart into their bodega and pulling down some kind of door or window or something. They're going to get started on the project right away. So they're kind of closing up their shop for however long it takes them to do this.
Okay.
And yes, you guys find the tavern, the brunch place, the brunch place, the tavern, and the potion place are all in a line at the end of the street.
9, does Lathander let you have ale? Is that allowed?
I don't see why not. I've never asked him personally, but I've never really partaken in drinking ale.
I'm so sorry. What did you just say to me?
Wait, what?
I'll definitely drink, like, if you have like some type of tea or water or
No, you have to try a mug of ale, 9.
a mug
Maybe
of
he's
ale.
more of an apple teeny guy.
There's lots
Denny's-
of stuff to choose from.
Denny's gonna like whip around to the group and be like, okay, I need everyone to be honest with me right now. How important is the Banshee? Like, really? Like, is that like a thing we need to do right now? Or can we just like take some time and just like not do that for a little bit?
What?
I'll do whatever you guys want. I'm happy to go and deal with the Banshee now or in the morning or whatever, but also we could just not do that and get drunk for a week straight. Whatever you want though.
So what are we trying to get from this Banshee? Just a name?
Yeah, I think it's a
Well,
name and a little bit of information on what happened at the
And
other
s-
place that the wizard or the guy was wondering about.
and that's in exchange for that wizard to not continue using people for its research. So if we don't go back, he's probably gonna do it again.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
And a
we can go
bummer.
back and jump back in the ball pit.
Yeah, but I would much rather not to put dead people through that again
Yeah.
if we can avoid it. And it seems okay, so Viesa told us that the Banshee was dangerous in the area, but it seems she isn't. So there's probably something else doing something bad and pinning it on the Banshee or something, because not the mage, not these people seem scared,
You
but the
think that
Banshee.
Phil looking guy would be able to tell us a little bit more about this Banshee so we could?
He did say that he had a package for her and asked me to deliver it. So he must know
Okay.
something.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't actually give us a package though, did he?
No, he didn't. We might have to go harass him later.
So how about we go talk to the Banshee, because it seems like it's a talking thing, not a punchy thing. We go back to the mage, let them know so they can clear camp, and we can then come back here and get drunk for a week.
Yes, this is a great plan.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And I'm starting to feel we also need like more money. Like things are getting dangerous, and I didn't know it was this expensive to be an adventurer, and uh and I don't think we've been getting that much money. She remembers the 2 big cases of gold that she left back in Phandalin.
Denny has never forgotten that.
It may still be there. That
What
is an
about the treasure
avenue.
under the floorboards that someone said? Was that Coneyberry? Someone told us in the
Thunder Tree.
dungeon.
Thunder Tree.
Thunder Tree, not Coneyberry. Like, if we might have a stash of gold here, but no.
So as our group, as the main portion of our group here spends into the evening, although it's always daytime, into the point of exhaustion or drunken passed outness, and we'll come back and revive. We'll do a backflash on whether or not they get 9 to drink. We're gonna skip through time and space for a moment and make our way towards a blue scaled, well, half blue scaled, half melty faced, not elf, running through the forest. Oh, I love it. Running through the forest, as he is vaguely aware that there is one of the pack of wolves, one of the 4 wolves, have been kind of just at a distance, coming to make sure that he's okay, and then leaving again, leaving a wide berth. But Whimsy has set one of the wolves just to make sure that wherever you go, you're safe. Sangane, we pick you up in the forest. It is getting very dark. It is past dusk hours. First night in Minecraft kind of vibes. What is going through Sangane's mind after the events of the day, starting with his friends and, battling an evil necromancer wizard, finding out that the zombies that he had raised had been previous allies to your party, citizens of the town that you had been trying to save. And then this new paladin who had just been adventuring with you, cast this spell which melted away some of your face in a way that you do not understand. You as a player understand the mechanic of who your character is, but Sangane, the character, does not. What is going through Sangane's mind?
Well, if it's a first night in Warcraft, I'm going to find a mountain to dig into and build up behind me.
Absolutely. Dirt
I'm also going to chop down a tree with my hand.
Yep, absolutely.
Make a torch.
We are rolling for Minecraft RPG, friends.
All right.
I would
long
play the
has
shit
Sangane
out of a
been running?
Minecraft RPG. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I think they do. How long has Sangane been running?
Sangane has been continuously on the move, whether running or walking or adventuring, kind of continuously for the better part of about 6-7 hours.
Wow.
Getting towards the point of exhaustion, trying to make your way somewhere. Maybe that's towards Neverwinter. Maybe that's towards Viesa's place. You found your way in. Would it be helpful if I switch the map so that we can kind of see the area that we're looking at? You had started here at the Old Owl Well, and you made your way over to the tree line, and you're probably somewhere in like this location. There. Did I move your guys' player map over? Yeah, I did. Okay. You can see the map of the Sword Coast there, Mike.
No, hold on. My thing's giving me problems here.
Oh, okay. Did I move your guys? Can you guys see the map of the Sword Coast?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you started at the Old Owl Well, and you ran kind of northwest, and you're at the tree line of the Neverwinter Woods, which extends further kind of southwest towards Viesa's place. Or if you continue straight, you will eventually exit the woods near Thunder Tree, and you could take the river down to Neverwinter itself if that's where you're looking for. You could also run along the tree line. It would take you another 2 days and maybe make your way back to Phandalin.
Yes.
If that's a place, I don't know. Where is Sangane headed if he doesn't understand what's going on to him? Where's his place of safety?
Honestly, there isn't one. His only place of safety, ironically, was the rest of the party. And they've disappeared. So he would be looking for answers from Sage, some kind of something that would know something about magic, something about races or racial ancestry in terms of inherited something. He'd be trying to commune with the Raven Queen as best he can, but I don't imagine he's going to get much of an actual straight answer out of her. So, I mean, going with that sort of faith-ish sort of thing, because he's kind of struck a deal with her in a way. I'm honestly not sure where he'd go. Would he go to Thunder Tree, or would he go try to see if he could find that Nothic in the Cragmaw hideout?
Now the Nothic, that's an interesting idea because he had a very good connection with the Nothic.
Well, exactly.
Maybe he's heading back to Phandalin.
Maybe.
Okay.
We haven't gone to Cragmaw Castle yet, have we?
You roughly understand that that's where it is, but that's where somebody had marked it. Viesa maybe had marked it on the map for you as a place of increased orc goblin activity, similar to the original caves that you all had cleared out.
And I have the map.
And you have the map, right?
Would the river, say northwest, that's sort of branching into the woods, would that be a slightly easier go of it if he goes along the river path
To get to where?
to say go to Thunder Tree and sort of work his way around everything. Because if I follow the tree line, I'm going to be too close to Cragmaw, I think.
Where are you going? You're trying to get to Phandalin?
I'm thinking actually in the direction of Thunder Tree.
Okay.
Neverwinter is big city. Big city's going to
Yeah.
have lots of people that know stuff.
Okay.
But keeping that Nothic in the back of his mind, sort of thing, seeing if anybody knows anything about that, or the aged something, possibly an elf.
Okay.
But Neverwinter is a city into which he can disappear if he needs to.
Okay. Are you, as you're making your way through the forest, as an elf, which is kind of your assigned race right now, as an elf, are you using that, and you're also kind of you've got this blue tint to you, so you're almost kind of like a moon elf or a wood elf in a way. You're using, I would imagine, some of those skills and traits that should have been passed on to you, although you don't remember growing up. You're trying your best. Give me a survival roll to see kind of how you do at getting through the forest itself, trying to make your way towards the river.
Okay. Where's my guy? Where's my guy? Survival, hey. 23.
23, excellent. You do make your way. As you do, over the course of the couple of days that it's going to take you to make your way up to the river there, you do pass unseen through a couple of places where there are kind of mixed, like, human dwarf parties of foresters. There is like a hunting party that looks to be mostly nobles. They have some super yippy dogs that almost drew attention to you, but you make your way around them. You skirt your way around. You do see kind of on the morning, mid-morning brunchish time of the third day, you know that if you continue on, you'll make it to the river on this day. But in this morning, you do kind of see your first sign that there may be an elven settlement nearby in the woods, hidden deep in the woods.
Well, the DM just gave me a button to push, so
I'm not saying you have to.
I'm weighing the option between showing a half elf of sorts, and facing rejection on the level of some creature that isn't. Viesa was nice enough, but it feels, I think, to Sangane like everyone wants to either kill him or drive him away or be rid of him. And he's torn. So he's going to basically watch if he can, or sort of just try to be, circumvent sneakily around, if I can find even the encampment or the village. And if there's anyone that looks suitably venerable, might try to approach. But if they're younger, or they're a hunting party, or there's any kind of too much recent, then he's just going to avoid it.
You start to kind of notice the signs, looking for them now. Not like they're bent branches or anything like that. You notice that there are these little, they're not chimes, but they look like small, thin, hollow, short pieces of almost bamboo. They're like hollow straw shaped toggles that hang from different branches very high up. Only your keen elf eyes can see them. And you notice them starting to mark out a path. It takes you a couple of hours because you've never had to look for them. You get better as you go. Before too long, you also notice that there is somebody following you from high up above. You haven't quite caught a glance of them, but there is definitely somebody every once in a while you hear it. It is probably a person because they're remaining out of sight in a very good way. Somebody is tracking you the closer you get to where these toggles are leading.
Try to be stealthy.
Roll stealth.
Oh, great. Oh, 19. But what I'm going to do, I would like to add my knowledge from a past life, which allows me to add a d6 immediately after seeing the roll.
Okay.
Which will give me another 3, so 22 total.
22. You try to maintain this very neutral pace. You don't necessarily want them to know, but the second that you find kind of a large trunk of this tree, you duck yourself behind it and kind of curve yourself under one of the roots that are sticking out. And you do see a pair of leather boots run past, stop. And what you can see from your viewpoint is these boots as they quickly start to turn and look around. You see them kind of make their way around the canopy up by where they're walking and eventually just kind of come to a place of rest. You hear a very low, you would absolutely mistake it for a bird, except for you're watching the very spot where this sound emanates from. And then from kind of 3 points around you, you hear it echoed back.
Is there a way that I can come out behind him? Them?
You could try and skirt around. Absolutely. That would be a second kind of stealth check.
Okay, I don't want to skirt out. I just want to sort of be in a position where I have a bit of an advantage so that I can catch them a bit flat-footed.
They are above on the canopy above you. Are you coming out with a weapon drawn?
Nope.
You come out. Sorry, give me just a second. You come at that Danny DeVito voice. I don't know how you do it, Sarah, for as long as you do. Man, I gotta do some vocal workouts before this. You guys can't spend time in Stanfield's town too long. You come out and you just kind of find a way to slip between some of these gigantic roots of this huge like sequoia tree. And you do manage to come out and dart to the base of the tree. So you can kind of angle your head around and see very clearly a woman elf standing on the branch, probably about 40 feet above you. And she is very keenly looking out. She thinks that you are still in front of her. She doesn't realize that you were tucked into that tree behind her. So she's kind of looking out ahead and she does not see you.
Pick up a rock
Mm-hmm.
and toss it up so that it hits the tree, but beneath where she's standing.
Yeah.
So that I can basically get her attention without suddenly descending the entire forest of elven rangers down on my top of my head.
You kind of like flat skip this rock up to try and get it to hit this. As fast as you do, based on her roll, she has aimed and shot an arrow, and the rock is sitting atop She has shot this arrow almost underneath so that the rock is sitting in like the nest of feathers that are fletched to this arrow. And her eyes peer down very quickly. What languages do you speak?
Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Primordial, Sylvan.
You hear her speak in Elvish. She's not speaking in Sindarin or Sylvan. She's speaking in Elvish, common Elvish. Her accent is very thick, like Appalachian thick. And she says, "What are you doing in my woods?"
At this point, I have a cloak up, or my hood.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I pull it aside and I look up, seeking answers.
She makes the
Seeking
bird
help.
sound, seeking help. Make a persuasion roll.
19.
She makes the bird sound again. There's a slightly different intonation. Just from what you heard, you are so on edge. You are picking up little details that you might not otherwise pick up. And she makes this sound that's just slightly different in its intonation. And within a couple of seconds, you hear branches and boughs start to creak. And pretty soon you look up and there is probably 6 other elves, including a tall, broad-shouldered woman, dark brown hair with kind of lichen almost braided and woven into it on the ground level, walking towards you. She is big, like what's her name from Game of Thrones and Star Wars? You know who I'm talking about?
Gwendolyn?
Gwendolyn. She is, you love it. She is a head and shoulder above everybody else. They are all wearing similar clothing. She does not stand out in kind of status symbol. It is purely her physical size. And she walks towards you. And she is a good, like you're a good 6 foot, 6'2" on your driver's license. And she is a good 8 to 10 inches taller than you. She's nearing 7 feet tall, which is tall for an elf. And she stands about 20 feet from you. And her accent is as thick, but every once in a while she drops in kind of a more common word. Like when you go somewhere and they're speaking in their language, but they also say Coca-Cola, you know what I'm saying? Like she'll drop in a common word every once in a while. And she'll say, and she says to you, "You are here seeking help. Why do you think we would or could help you?"
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why I have been chosen to have this happen. And I am afraid. My companions are gone. And I don't remember who I am. I know instinctually that the older the society, the older the culture, the greater its knowledge, the greater its history, the greater its arcane understanding. And this feels very arcane. I meant no offense to trespass. If this is your wood, I thought I was an elf, but I don't think I am.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Ooh, 11.
We do not trust those who come in unbidden, but if you ask for help, Sail Adenath will maybe honor you, or I will kill you. We will let her decide. You'll walk ahead of us. And she juts out her chin and points in a direction following the toggles closer.
I thank you for your mercy, regardless of which choice is made. Start walking.
Okay. You're only about 20 minutes. You made it very close to their camp. You're only about a 20-minute walk from their camp. And as you walk into, it's not even a glade. It's not even like it opens to a glade where there's elves. No, it is denser packed forest in this area. Old trees that hum with their own energy and sounds. There is a spring of water that comes up, and that is the only time that elves to even touch the forest ground in this area. Everything, as you look up, you see points of light, and you think that they're from the canopy where the sun shines in, except for it is the dead of night. These lights are made to look like sunlight, but this is a vibrant city. There's probably 200 people that live in this canopy of trees. Cool. And you begin to climb. You are brought to this particular chamber, and this woman who is, in the way that they speak, and you know, because you speak Sylvan, that Sail Adenath means wise woman. It is a term. It is not a name. It is a position. It's like doctor. It is a position in a society. And they stand outside, and there is kind of, as they approach, they draw quieter and more respectful. There is a reverence around her. And as you pull aside the flap of her tent and enter, this is not a woman at all. This is a girl. She is maybe 11 years old, young, just a child that sits on the ground in front of this fire in this little hut that is carved into the trunk of a tree.
Not what I was expecting. Feel I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I can add it into chat. There you go. Sail Adenath.
Sail Adenath.
She looks at you, her big brown eyes, just a child's face, a little nose, a sprinkle of freckles across her face, her hair, her dark brown hair in kind of ringlets, although there is this thin silver metal band that wreaths her head that you haven't seen on any of the other elves.
I'll approach the fire
Mm-hmm.
opposite to her,
Mm-hmm.
Drop to my knees,
Mm-hmm.
hands on thighs sort of thing. Forgive the intrusion. I was not expecting this much or immediate help. There is no spoon.
I do not know that we should help you. My lineage has long been warned of the first time you came, although it was not in such simple form. You nearly drove us out, but we always prosper. and now you come seeking help. Perhaps this is a good sign. Perhaps you've learned. Perhaps it worked. That would be a surprise to us. We didn't expect that you would ever learn. What do you seek help for?
Remembering. These actions of which you speak, I have no knowledge of. I have no knowledge of having any life past the point of waking less than a month ago. I have formed memories and kept memories of a tremendous group of companions who have helped me this far. But beyond that, beyond anything, no childhood memories, no past life memories, no understanding of my place in the world. And you say that I nearly drove you out, and I do not know how I would have committed such a crime. Because
not crime. She just simply interrupts just to speak. Not crime. Crime is when you hurt a person. What you did was worse, which is why you cannot remember. You should not remember. None of us should bear that weight.
This is terrible.
But you come to seek help. We can help you. We can help you to learn to live a good, simple life. And in this way, you will maybe take that back when it is time to remember. You've come to us for recompense. It was written. Do you choose to stay with us now? These friends, you're not bringing them here. They're not of our kind.
They are unique, each in their own way. And together we form a kaleidoscope, a spectrum of strength, of honor, of compassion that I have learned from each of them. Though I feel...
Go ahead.
No,
Nope.
I feel that I have had this knowledge, but I've never seen it put to a test or make sense. But then I cannot remember anything beyond a month ago. Who was I that I had this capacity to drive out an entire village, and yet at the same time have an understanding of this compassion and an appreciation such that I am drawn to it?
It is probably hard fought over many lives that your heart has been bent towards goodness. It is not your true nature.
Is this my true nature?
She seems hesitant to respond.
What is this?
We do not speak of that. I speak to you as you should be presented. And she kind of gestures to the other half of your body, to the elven half of your body. What good would knowing do for you? You want to live honestly, compassionately with your friends? Then why should it matter who you once were? Be good now.
One cannot properly walk path forward until one knows where one has been.
That is not
How
true.
can I understand the depth of the goodness that I have to become if I have no knowledge of who I was in my past? How can I make right a wrong that I don't know I've committed?
You cannot. There is nothing that can right certain wrongs. What you can do is put one foot in front of the other. Don't look behind. You say you have compassion and friends. That is where your focus should be. If you desire knowledge, so that you can provide a little relief to the itch that still harbors deep within you. And her eyes flicker at you for a moment. And you get the sense that she knows those cravings that come every once in a while. Those moments that have scared you, that have been like, what is going on? You desire relief from those. You desire to know why those exist. But that is not the way. You do not need to look backwards. You do not need to know where you're coming from. Put one foot in front of the other. Continue on in a good and simple life. And in that way, you will grow, and then you will die, and then you will grow again. This is life.
Why? This is not life, not to my knowledge of it. I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't breathe. This is not living.
Are
This
those
is a
the
shell.
things that you miss? Do you think that would make you more compassionate? We can help you with that if you miss the taste of a finely crafted ale, or
I don't know enough about the things that I would miss to appreciate their loss. I have no memory at all. That is the most disturbing thing. If I had a knowledge of a fine wine, a delicious meal, the revelry of companionship beyond that which I have recently experienced, I would know what I am missing. But I have nothing. I have a simple life that I feel I've been living, such as it is, with my recently acquired companions. And I know I have learned compassion, I have learned righteousness and understanding. I have learned, yet in all the face of these, a quick wit or a smile to liven others is a benefit to everyone as a whole. And
so
I can't.
You seek
reconcile
knowledge.
the two.
You seek knowledge of who you were. That's what you're looking for. That is why
Yes.
you seek me out.
I wish to understand. I would like help in understanding who I am, who I was, so that I can use that knowledge to move forward in a positive way.
And if the knowledge has its own price, who should pay that? Who should bear that burden again?
I'm pretty sure I have already died
Many
in
times.
my own knowledge base in the past month in order to help bring back someone who was lost, who had gone before her time. And I made a pact of sorts with the Raven Queen, who has seen fit to, I guess, shepherd me along whatever path I now take. So I'm no longer afraid of death. I'm not really even alive.
You're not afraid of your own death. It is the death of my people that I seek to avoid. If you choose that what you want from me is knowledge, I can provide that. And you say you're not afraid of death, then I suppose we will find out what you are afraid of, because the cost of this knowledge is steep.
There you have it. I will pay it.
She stands up. She's about 5'2", and she walks out past you, opens like the buckskin door, and speaks quietly. You can make a perception check, but the difficulty is very high to hear what she says to the person.
My perception is not great. 18, I'm sure will not do it.
You pick up a couple of words, and it seems that she's in some way kind of recounting a little bit of what the two of you spoke about. And she says, when she comes back in, she kind of stands off to your left. Every once in a while, her eyes flicker just beyond your shoulder, as if there's something kind of behind you. You noticed it when you had started to speak of the Raven Queen. Her eyes started to dart off to the side, just to kind of see that she seems to think that there's something behind you. And she says, all right, well, I do not know what this cost will be, and I hope I have not doomed us by granting your request, but if what you seek is knowledge that you can become more compassionate, we will see what we can do. And you feel something kind of stick in the side of your neck. And as you go to reach a hand up, you pull out a little dart, and you see that it's kind of coated in something.
Great.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, man. 20. Dirty 20.
Oh, okay, not a natural 20.
Nope.
Because I was
but I
like,
have
three more darts.
I have
fly out.
advantage against disease and being poisoned.
It's not being poisoned, no.
Okay.
And they're not like giving you the clap. It's not a disease. Sorry.
Denny's not here.
That's happening in Coneyberry. Your eyes feel heavy, and your head starts to nod forward.
So they hit me with 3 more darts.
Even though you're not breathing, you do kind of fall to the side. You feel the girl reach out to grab your arm. She's not very strong, but she does kind of keep you from falling forward into the fire. And she knocks you off to the side. And that's where we're going to pick up your story next week. We're going to smash cut back to Coneyberry. Sean, how did Nine's night go?
Nine's just kind of sticking close by everybody. You know, we're still trying to stay aware of where they are, and definitely missing his shield because it's not on his back. Right. But yeah, that's kind of what he's doing. He's just chilling, kind of watching our surroundings and staying with the party.
Okay. Denny, how did everybody's night go?
Well, Denny proceeded to get everyone as drunk as possible in the quickest amount of time possible. There were many cheese boards. There was pitchers upon pitchers upon pitchers of mimosas. Maybe somebody danced on a table. it was a crazy night.
It was
But-
Graja and the table broke.
It definitely was, yes. I feel like
Whimsy would
we're
have faded out early. Whimsy would have gone up to get a room, and he would have been reading through the sorcerer's books that he shoved into the hole,
Okay.
trying to
Okay.
read through his work, figure out what the hell was going on there.
Okay.
Whimsy had one mimosa and then went away to be a nerd.
Classic.
such a nerd.
All right. Jart, anything to add? Okay. And you guys, for better or for worse, depending on who you are, and how many splinters you have to pull out of your butt from breaking the table and falling on it. You wake it's still bright, heat outside, but you awake somewhat refreshed, somewhat maybe a little bit hungover for some of you. There can easily be found a variety of goods and cures and elixirs and tonics should you need it. The potion store is open. Is there anything else? I know, Sean, you at 9 wanted some potions. Whimsy, was there anything you wanted in town?
Whimsy also doesn't have money and doesn't really understand the concept of it, but all he really wants is some more rations and a lot of dried meat for the wolves.
Okay. You do find that there are a variety of different things that you can get, chili pepper rating, Beyond Meat options, like whatever you're looking for. And it'll cost, I assume that Denny kind of supervises and comes along with it. It'll cost kind of
Whimsy trying to buy stuff with feathers and acorns and just slaps them out of his hand.
Denny's just gonna take all those and just put those back into Whimsy's pocket for him and just, here's some money, take it and go. I believe in you, champ.
It's not as, it's not as nice as the feathers and the acorns and whatnot, but you do make your way. 9, if you're out looking for potions, and I know you guys wanted to identify a couple of potions. There are 3 varieties of potions you can get. There are the little guys, which are about 50 gold a piece, and they do 1d4. There are the next size up from that. There's like a shot size that does 1d4. The next size up from that is like a emergency, that you like an energy drink size. And that is, I don't know, 2d4, I think is what it is. And then the next size up is like a 40. It comes in a paper bag, and it is like 44 or something like that. And the little guy, the shot size is 50 gold. The next size up is 500 gold. The big guy is 2,500 gold.
I guess 9 would he only has
Thank
like
you,
250
Leslie.
on him. So he'd probably get as many of the little guys as he could for 250, because he kind of feels like he's without a cleric. He's gonna need somebody to heal somebody.
So that's 5 of those ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. So 5 just kind of standard healing potions. Okay. Denny, you find as you awake the next morning, there is on your side table a beautifully wrapped package in like a vibrant silvery white fabric with a bright bow and like a tuft of hair instead of a tag. And this is probably the package for Agatha. And you also find slipped under your door a bill for the table that Graja broke. It's fair.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's 5 gold for the table.
Okay.
And you guys are free. If there's anything else you want to do in Coneyberry, otherwise you're free to head on towards the Banshee's lair.
Really quick before we leave, I think Denny's gonna go pay the bill for the table and the rooms, and a hefty tip. Sorry for the the partying. My apologies. Sorry for party rocking. Thank you very much for your time. Here you go. Also gonna take a quick swig of ale on the way out. And then walk over to the potions store, because I do have that small Aquamarine Potion that I've been carrying around for a while. I'd like to know what that does.
Sure. The woman, when you hand it over, she goes, "Oh, lovely, lovely. This is you must have gotten this from my cousin. Oh, that little vixen. I told her not to take our secrets outside of town. Anyway, yes, lovely. She's from my mother's side. We don't really talk. It's a long story. Yes, well, look, these were specially created by my family, so this is where you should come to get them in the future, darling. But you don't know what they do. That's surprising, because someone of your talents, and she kind of, her eyes flicker to the banjolele, would think that this was quite a steal for you. I'd be curious to know how much she's charging for them. Anyway, yes, after you use a bit of the old specialness that we provide, this just makes you a little bit more, gives you a little bit more endurance. Do you know what I'm saying? It gives you a little bit more. Mechanically, this returns a level 1 spell slot for the little guy.
Ah, that's cool. Okay.
It's a mana potion.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I will also take a small healing potion for the road.
50 gold for that. Lovely, lovely. Here you go.
Thank you so much. And really quickly as well, before we leave town, like just kind of on the way out, Denny would like to stop and pick up some bracers and drop them off at the jeweler's to get spelled.
The bracers themselves, like, you can buy a fairly simple pair of just like standard leather bracers for, kind of 2 gold. You can buy some that are really ornately detailed and like engraved. The leather worker tells you that you can pick out, kind of like a tattoo shop, you can pick out a design. They'll do the design and then take them over to the enchanter if you want something that is particular to your tastes.
Yeah, Denny's not super particular about how or like what it looks like, just as long as it looks fancy. It's got to look way too complicated. That way you know it's fancy. So just like regular leather bracers, but he'll spruce them up later.
Sure. So definitely they when they hear you say, like, it doesn't have to look good, it just has to look like it's money, they pull out like a little Louis Vuitton stamp and then just stamp it a bunch of times and then take that over, and that'll cost you 4 gold for the fancy ones, and you guys carry on. Anybody have anything else to do in town? No.
Oh, before we leave as well, Denny would like to write a quick letter. Is there like a mail service out of this town? I know it's kind of off the map, so I don't know if there's
Who are you sending it to?
My parents. I need some more money. I still have a bunch of money, but Denny needs some more money.
Sure,
I'm
of
down
course,
to 1,500, so.
There is a special arcane style. So this is an older man. He's got he's got kind of a maroonish look to his skin. And he wears bespectacled glasses with like chains on them. He's very thin and frail looking. And he goes, Yes, I can send any message to anybody if you just describe them to me. What do you want? It gets there instantly.
Oh, so my parents, I would like them to please send me another 1,000 platinum pieces if they can get around to that at some point soon. Thank you.
Where would they send it to?
Oh, where are they this time of year? I can't remember if that are at our vacation house.
No, how do they get to you? I can send it. It sends to them automatically. How do they get the money to you?
Can I get them to send it here? Would that work?
Sure.
Then yes, let's do that.
All right. And he dips his quill in this gold ink. And as he starts to write on the page, it sets for a second, flashing kind of, it almost looks like it writes black before it oxidizes and flashes gold. And within a few seconds, it starts to disappear. The ink disappears. And eventually he writes out the whole message. It disappears. And he says, all right, they got it. If I assume that they'll send it to me. I don't know if they know how to, I told them how to send it to me, but I don't know where they are or how long that's going to take. When it gets here, I'll send you a message.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it as very much. Here's a gold piece for your troubles.
Well, it cost a gold, but thanks. All right, fine. And he
Yes,
like
you bet.
slides it off. Okay. Thanks. Okay. And he slides it off.
If that
Go ahead.
costs the gold, Jard wants to send a message to her parents.
Okay, go ahead.
And basically tell them that she's okay and she hopes they are okay. And if they could send a letter to the first inn and Neverwinter where we met.
The Sunken Flagon.
Yeah. To let her know where they are, whatever, that she's gonna be there at some point.
Okay. Do they live at the monastery?
They live in a town nearby,
Okay.
like a couple miles.
Okay. And again, you see the ink go on black, oxidized gold, and then disappear. He says, your parents seem like nice people.
Thank you. They are.
Anybody have anything else to do in Coneybury? No. All right. Then you leave and you make your way north. And as you cut into the first set of trees, as you cut into the tree line, the forest grows dark, and even the air itself grows still as the trail winds deeper into these trees. There are heavy vines and thick layers of moss that drape the branches, and the air is noticeably colder than it was. Like, obviously stepping outside of Coneybury, whatever Coneybury was, it was cold, and the air gets, the temperature drops even further. Rounding a bend in the trail, you see a screen made from warped branches of trees that are standing close together, and they are woven into like a dome-like shelter in the shadows. A low doorway leads inside, and I am going to switch your map.
Oh gosh, that's big.
Oh.
That's where we'll pick up next week, because we're at that time.
Yeah.
This was excellent. I love Coneybury.
Me too. Coneybury for life. Yes.
Same.
Denny's gonna buy some property for sure.
Oh yeah.
A
Holiday.
timeshare in Coneybury. I love it. I feel like there is a whole set of Patreon, like Phandalin by Night After Dark content that happens
Yeah.
in regular escapades in Coneybury for sure.
100%.
We love it. That's where we'll end for tonight. So let me go around and have my players introduce themselves. We'll finish out some other things. And Sarah, if you'll find out who we're going to share this raid into, that would be fantastic. Phandalin by Even Later Night. I love it. Amanda,
Yeah.
you're totally right. I love this. Sean, why don't you go first?
Hey guys, I'm Sean. I play 9, human paladin, who he just confused somebody would bestow him with such gifts tonight. And he trying to stock up on the potions because he kind of feels like he's the new cleric, and he's not a cleric. But you can find me here on Sundays. I'm here on Fridays for the Icewind Dale campaign, and I'm acting foolish on most social medias. So yeah, that's me.
I love it. Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike, mostly Sangane or not. You can catch my pre and post COVID cosplay adventures at Canadian Captain America on Instagram and TikTok, CDN Cap America on Twitter, where I do mostly D&D stuff. And you can catch me here on Sundays with this awesome group of people who I'm going to give like flying rides to. It's all good. We've already worked it out. It's going to be a whole attraction thing. Do a barrel roll. And you can catch me on Saturdays at the Vampire Saturday Takeover, playing in the Delve into Darkness game with Half-Orc Sarah.
Love it. Amanda.
Amanda, I play Whimsy the Tiefling Warlock, and I don't really do too much else other than make dumb TikToks. So that's all I got.
Oh yeah.
Not dumb TikToks. You got to stop saying that. Amazing
They're super popular.
TikToks.
They can be dumb and amazing. Stuff can be
I don't know if you guys all noticed, but Amanda passed like 2,500 followers on
I saw
TikTok the other
that.
day.
I saw that.
What? Our girl is getting her
Mhm.
props that she madly deserves. So we love it. And we will continue to demand that more people follow you. Nikki.
Hey everybody, Nikki here. I've played Denny, the Tiefling Bard, who finally feels at home in Coneybury. Finally, a place that accepts him for him, you know? Anyway, you can find me on Instagram at I'm Poppy Fields. I don't do too much else because I'm a boring human with a boring life. So follow me there.
That is also not true. I know where you have been in the last 24 hours. Najra.
Hey everyone, I'm Najra and this is Loki. I have a business called Najra Creations. I'm a professional cosmaker and custom wedding designer. So if you're planning to get married or need a cosplay, let me know. And this is gonna be a weird next week. I don't know what to expect from Agatha. It's getting me anxious.
Okay. Sarah.
Hey, my name's Sarah. You can find me on Twitter at MCDiabetes. I'm a creative partner at Martlet Games. As Mike said, I can also be found here on Vancouver by Night as part of the Saturday Vampire Takeover, where I portray the Prince of Vancouver, Jude Duncan. I'm never going to stop saying that, Mike, so you can stop rolling your eyes. I worked hard to become Prince.
We worked hard to be.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. That's right. Martlet's got a lot of stuff in production, and actually, if you want to roll over there at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, or 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we have a vampire one-shot called Dancing with the Duke that is a Regency era vampire one-shot with our dear channel friend Rose Bulbasaur in the ST seat for the first time. So that's going to be super fun. Everybody's got looks ready, so please join us over at Martlet Games on Twitch at 8:30 Eastern tonight. Other than that, I'll be in the ST chair here coming up very soon for my own Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition campaign called London's Bleeding, where it is the second and final season. It's going to be a wild ride, so please stick around for announcements about that. Got a few guest spots here and there, but just go ahead and follow me on Twitter. You'll see what I'm doing. And thanks everybody so much for joining us today and all the raids. I really appreciate it.
Man, if I would have known they were only a half an hour later, I could have gone for another half hour. We could have just directly raided into them. Oh, well, you guys are going to have to wait till next week. I am Sarah. I have been your DM, your dungeon mistress tonight, and over the last nearly year that we've been running this campaign, 27 episodes. You can find me here on Sundays at 2, shepherding this amazing group of people, visiting Coneybury as often as humanly possible at this point. I feel strongly that this has become the new base of operations. We are winding down this season. We're going to take a little bit of break. We've got about 4 weeks left, hopefully, depending on where the narrative story ends. And then you can find me Thursday nights hosting Community Cleric, where I uplift women in gaming. This week I have Kaya, who she's known at Zeal Prophet 27 on Twitter, and some really amazing guests coming up. So come and see that. And yeah, I would love it if you would follow me on Twitter. Actually, that would be very great for me. And thank you guys. We are, oh, I wanted to shout out one other thing. There is Tavernaut over on Tavernaut's channel. They're just winding up a 12-hour charity stream for Trans Education Network of Texas.
We're gonna raid over there, actually.
Is that who we're raiding?
Yes, we are.
Tavernaut?
Yes,
oh,
indeed.
You guys are like making my heart sing. Thank you. Yes, we're gonna go right over to them. I was up at 6:30 this morning, part of their early morning show. And so this is great. We're gonna go see Tav. Say hi from me. And yeah, let's go do that. Thanks. Oh, wait, one more thing. Please go to our YouTube. Please go to our YouTube and subscribe, because we are so close to 1,000 and we're pushing hard for it. So please go to our YouTube and subscribe. Now we can go. Thank you everybody for watching. We will see you next week. Bye from Phandalin or Coneyberry or the Banshees.
Everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.